Hello, and welcome to my reflection of the MBAE 635 Chicago trip of 2017. My name is Melissa McCain, and I am the Innovations Director at the Franklin Community High School, which is part of the Franklin Community Schools District located in Franklin, Indiana. This trip to Chicago was filled with great lessons and takeaways. Two reoccurring themes that I personally connected with are the importance of developing the whole child and the importance of collaborating with the community to provide engaging educational activities for the students. If we start with a review of the community collaboration, it only makes sense to look at After School Matters. After School Matters is not actually a school, but a supplemental program that provides students with an outlet for exploring, taking ownership of their education in order to broaden their perspectives. The core program component is to build opportunities for teens through partnerships. They do this with independent instructors who are professionals in their field. The programs take place in public schools and private schools, in businesses, parks, and even in libraries. The program provides apprenticeships, assistantships, internships, and professional mentoring to the students. They truly develop executive skills needed in the workplace so that the students are ready to take on leadership roles as they leave school. Marwin and Youth Guidance were two additional supplemental programs that we were able to visit while we were in Chicago. Marwin is based on improving education through the arts, and Youth Guidance is based on improving education through counseling. 41% of the students serviced at Marwin do not have art available in their school, so this is an important collaboration. Marwin also collaborates with community artists to bring them in and show students firsthand skills that will be beneficial to them and of interest. Marwin has an open door policy for parents, which I think is very important community collaboration. It allows parents who are bringing their students from less affluent neighborhoods into the more affluent neighborhood where Marwin is located. It lets them come in, wait for their student in a comfortable atmosphere while their student completes the program, and even enjoy free Wi-Fi while they're there. Making that connection with the parents not only helps them feel more comfortable in a different culture, but helps the culture of the community feel more comfortable with the differences of the less affluent communities coming into them and helps them embrace that community difference. Members are allowed to come in, have a cup of coffee, and sit down and chat with each other. Sometimes there are school staff available to chat with. Sometimes it's just chatting as a community, but it gives that open forum for the community to relax within the school and be part of the school, and sometimes even collaborate with the principal or other staff members. The principal also has a principal chat group with social media that she uses to open up those community collaborations and get community input. Preschool playtime was a way that St. Nicholas also reached out with community collaborations and helping those preschoolers feel more a part of the community and a part of the school so that they were more likely to enroll when the time came. And that seemed to be beneficial to the school and something that maybe isn't being followed through with right at the moment, but they're hoping to reinvigorate as the next year begins. One of the community collaborations that I was most impressed with, though, from St. Nicholas, is their open panel discussion. When the principal found out that we were coming to visit the school and learn more, she really didn't know a lot about our purpose. So I think it says a lot that she immediately started forming a panel. So it wasn't just her presenting her information, GEMS and Palmer Elementary were two other school settings that we visited. GEMS was an international school, and the one we visited was the only one in the US located in Chicago. Now, that was not a happenstance. They chose the Chicago setting based on the availability of community interactions. They are in the Museum District of Chicago, and so they have a wealth of information right within walking distance around them, and they definitely take advantage of that with their field studies, which put students out in the community every week. And as they go out into the community, they are not only spectators. For example, um, there would not be a field study where they went out and watched a play. It would have to be more of them engaging in creating a play or designing the theme of a play, um, or not just related to theater, but many other curriculums, but set within the community. And so the connections with the museums and local businesses and service organizations were all strong. And GEMS being an international school, they were also able to broaden their community and make connections across continents for students and teachers. Palmer Elementary also did an incredible job of community connections. Just from when we were there that day, they were having a colonial day, and the primary students um, were dressed in colonial gear and doing colonial activities. But I thought it was very interesting that a lot of the teachers for the day in the different areas where the students were going to learn about colonial times, the teachers were um, parents from the neighborhood that had volunteered to share information. And they also in their daily program, not just in that day, but their tier one supports are all retired teachers that have experience working with students and identifying their needs. And so, what better community connection, to bring out than bringing those retired teachers back in as a community service, which is great. Um, Now, as far as other connections to the community, such as the field studies and things that you saw at GEMS, you didn't see a lot of that at Palmer Elementary, but I would suspect in the next, oh, I don't know, 3 to 5 years that's probably going to increase. I think really the reason that that's not a stable structure at Palmer Elementary right now is because with the turnover, they've really had to spend their time building that community within and making collaborations within their own building. So I think once they get that their building community set and understanding the importance of collaboration, and then as the years go on, they will definitely reach out and pull in community connections in other ways. So good things are happening at Palmer, and I see that continuing. And so then we'll go ahead and talk about the strand of making sure you develop the whole child. And once again, I think the top notch view of this was had from After School Matters. Their whole program was based on developing the whole child, and they developed the social, the emotional, the intellectual, the physical, the environmental, the financial, the occupational, and ethical skills that students need, along with providing that academic outlet and an extension that they provide, and we had talked about in the community connections. But my favorite part is they don't just stop with developing the whole child; they also develop the whole teacher. And so, teachers at After School Matters, they get support and leadership opportunities. There's targeted workshops. There's new instructor institutes, new provider institutes. There's coaching and goal setting with program specialists on an ongoing basis. And because they're working so hard to develop that whole teacher and in order to provide services that help develop the whole child. Each teacher in the program is provided with a structure for the environment and for their learning community, which puts a safe environment at the basis, and then building on that with a supportive environment. So then when you have a safe and supportive environment, then you can increase those peer interactions. And once the peer interactions are there, you definitely have that youth engagement that you're looking for at the top of the pyramid. And so I'm completely impressed with this whole program, and especially this model or diagram of how the learning community environment should be structured. I really feel like if the same structure was eh, presented in a school setting, that it would not only flourish, but so would the school. And so I was very impressed with their program all over. Once again, those two additional supplemental programs, Youth Guidance and Marwin, both um, provide development of the whole child. Youth Guidance is kind of based on it with their Becoming a Man program and working on womanhood, and then even at those individual assistant levels with their Strive program. And the whole program is focused on social emotional skills. And part of the great thing is, youth guidance doesn't just say, okay, we're going to give you help until you finish this grade or something. They're not only helping and encouraging and supporting students to make it to high school graduation, but before they leave the high school, they're helping them um, you know get the application process and the responsibilities that go with going into higher education, and making sure all those things are done, that maybe they wouldn't get those supports without youth guidance. Maybe they just wouldn't be available in the home. And so, um, once again, youth guidance supports that whole child. Marwin does the same thing. Marwin, as we talked about, is kind of education through the visual arts, but that is not their focus. Their focus is educating the whole child. They just use the visual arts as an engaging avenue to do that and to educate and inspire the students. They even have right within the Marwin Center, a whole wall on college and career training. So they're definitely preparing the kids for a lot more than just an interest or a career in the arts. Um, and referring back to GEMS, the International School, and St. Nicholas Cathedral, once again, we have that reoccurring theme of the whole child. One of my favorite quotes that I heard while at GEMS was, innovation is not just what you do on a flat screen. We teach them the thinking process. And so, once again, that's very inquiry based and let the students do the thinking. The diversity came up again, and Jim's kind of talked about it not as just one type of diversity, but racially diverse, socioeconomically diverse, economically diverse, family structure diversity, and internationally diverse. And much of the same thing was going on in St. Nicholas Cathedral. The small class size and the limited market area really helped them get to know their students on a personal level, so that they could meet some of those whole child needs. They were able to give those students individual attention. Once again, they cited encouraging that diversity as meeting the needs of the whole child, and providing for those social emotional experiences. And then I firmly believe that in working in the religious values that St. Nicholas is able to do, they're better able to meet the social emotional needs of the whole child. The last school that I'm going to talk about is Palmer Elementary. And I want to start by saying Palmer Elementary had some great things in there. When the principal was giving her um, presentation at the beginning, like I couldn't write fast enough. There were so many books that I wanted to read and so much research that she kind of shared with us that I will take with me and I will go learn more about. What I would say that I learned from Palmer, though, is the importance of what you do has to match what you say. Although we sat in a presentation, I was extremely impressed. I had a hard time taking anything away from Palmer because afterwards we went on a tour and the actions of the adults in the building did not match the school-wide expectations. So the impact on my current position, this trip has been extremely valuable in my current position. Our corporation is actively seeking ways to increase enrollment, and all three of the schools we visited have increased enrollment by focusing on community collaboration and development of the whole child. In addition, the non-school programs we visited have truly engaged students with those same two values. And so I plan to take these two elements of the community collaboration and um, and development of the whole child back to my administration team and collaborate with them on innovations that will help us meet our goals of increased enrollment and help us meet the needs of the students at the same time. As far as the impact on my future career, I know I kind of talked a little bit about what happened at Palmer Elementary, and I think the biggest impact on that is once again, although I do not believe it is necessarily the goal of this trip, I would have to say that Palmer Elementary will have the biggest impact on my future career, and that was kind of reinforcing the importance of practicing what you preach, and that's was made completely clear to me in that setting. So once again, I am so appreciative for the opportunity to see education on a broader spectrum and to get those experiences that genuinely will carry through with me forever. So I appreciate it once again for the opportunity.